So in the previous lecture, we have discussed about a Hartley oscillator. It is also a kind of a LC oscillator. Now the another type of the LC oscillator is called a Colpite oscillator. Hartley oscillator and Colpite oscillator are almost a identical circuit. Only there is a change in the feedback network. So let us see what is the circuit for a Colpite oscillator. So here the circuit is there, and the second one is another form of a Colpite oscillator. Actually, both the circuits are identical. Now, if you look at this circuit here, then basically oscillator means what? There will be a kind of a internal amplifier, and there will be a feedback network. So here, if you look at this transistor and the resistance R1, R2, Re, and Cv, so this is going to form a internal amplifier. So we can say here we have a internal amplifier, and R1, R2, Re, Cv, they are for a biasing. Then here we have a RFC coil. What is the importance of the RFC coil? Already we have discussed in the previous session when we have discussion on a Hartley oscillator. So basically it will prevent the power supply. It will prevent the power supply from the high frequency, because whatever the high frequency is going to be generated here, so it will be entered into the power supply, and your power supply is going to be corrupted. So to prevent this power supply, the high frequency RFC coil is connected as a load in a Colpite oscillator. Now if you look at this, that this part is an amplifier, this is the output of the amplifier circuit, and this output of the amplifier circuit is given to a kind of a feedback network here. So this is a feedback network. And this voltage is the input for the feedback network, and whatever the voltage is going to be produced at the output of this feedback network, it is working as a input for the amplifier circuit. Now here in this feedback network, you can see that in a Hartley oscillator there was a inductor and instead of a capacitor here, and there was a capacitor instead of the inductor. Correct? So only we are replacing a capacitor with the inductor and the inductor with the capacitor, then it forms a Colpite oscillator. Now if we look at this workings of this, then whatever the amplifier circuit we have, this amplifier circuit is introducing a 180 degree of phase shift. Means here if there will be a kind of a positive cycle and the negative cycle is there. So after the amplification, here it is going to be a negative cycle and a positive cycle will be there. Now that voltage is going to be appear for the input of this feedback network. And here we have a kind of a tank circuit, LC circuit is there. This LC circuit is going to be introduced another 180 degree of the phase shift. Now how it is going to introduce? So here if you look at this inductor, at this end of the inductor, if this is going to be a positive, then another end of the inductor is going to be a negative. So the 180 degree of the phase shift is going to be introduced by this LC network. And here, so first of all we have a negative cycle, then after the output of this feedback network, this is going to be a positive cycle. So here you can see the input signal and the feedback signal both are in the same phase. So the loop gain of this amplifier, you can say the angle for the loop gain is going to be a 0 degree, or you can say it is a 360 degrees there. So in this way the circuit is working as a oscillator. Now if you look at the same thing in another circuit, then this is a amplifier which introduces a 180 degree of phase shift, and here we have this a feedback network, and it is going to be introduced another 180-degree phase shift. So output voltage of the amplifier is a input for this feedback network, and the output of this feedback network is again for a input of this amplifier circuit. So either you draw a Colpit oscillator in this manner or in this manner, then it is a one of the same. So here again the loop gain of this amplifier, a feedback amplifier, is going to be a 0 degree or 360 degree. Now how the oscillation will start? So basically what will happen when we switch on the power supply here, when we apply a DC voltage to the amplifier circuit, then the transient current is going to be produced. So due to this, what will happen? Here, due to this supply, there will be a flow of the current through this RFC, and this current will also pass through this capacitor and enter into this tank circuit. So this is going to be charge the capacitor, and the transient current is going to be flow. So here this capacitor is going to be a charge, and after that the here in this tank circuit the then oscillation is going to be produced. So charging and the discharging of the capacitor through this inductor is going to take place, and due to that whatever the voltage is appear across this capacitor, that will work as a feedback voltage for the amplifier circuit. So here across this capacitor it is a output voltage. Across this capacitor we have a output voltage of the amplifier, and whatever the voltage will be induced across this capacitor, it will work as a feedback voltage for the amplifier circuit. So here whenever we switch on, the transient current will flow. Due to that, the in a tank circuit, charging and the discharging of the capacitor will take place. So as a result, the oscillation is going to take place in the tank circuit. And to maintain the amplitude of this, it is given to a amplifier circuit so that you can have a sustained oscillation. Okay, now let us say what will be the frequency of oscillation. And for that, here we can draw a equivalent circuit. That in a Hartley oscillator, I already explained how to draw the equivalent circuit. So here, if you remember that one, then in that case, we are not representing a capacitor or an inductor in an equivalent circuit. We represent it with the only a kind of a impedance. Then later on we can have that impedance is a inductive or that impedance is a capacitive. Right? So this is a impedance, Z1 is there, another impedance Z2 is there, and here we have ground. Remember the capacitor C1 is here, C2 is here, it is represented as Z1 and Z2, and then the parallel to this we have a another impedance, and we call this as a Z3. Right? And Z3 is nothing but it is a kind of a inductor in case of the Colpit oscillator. Then if you remember, then in a equivalent circuit we are representing the transistor. So the transistor we represent with the input impedance of the transistor, and that can be represented in this way. This is the HIE. What is HI? It is a input resistance of the transistor, resistance between the base and emitter of the transistor. Then whatever the transistor will say, it is represented as a current source. So here if we draw this, then the current source you can represent in this way. What is the value of the current source? It is a HAP into IB. This current is going to flow like this. And this is the equivalent circuit. Now in this equivalent circuit, if you look at this, then here we have a output voltage of the amplifier that is given to this capacitor C2, and whatever the voltage is developed across this, it is a feedback voltage to the amplifier circuit. Okay? And all these things we have discussed in case of the Hartley oscillator. Now, what is the Barkhausen criteria? Barkhausen criteria is K into AV equal to 1. And here we can write the gain of the amplifier. This gain of the amplifier is written as, if you remember, here we have a standard formula for that. It is minus AI into RL divided by RI. And for this, if we write, it is minus HAP. Now instead of RL, we write a impedance ZL and divided by RI. So here input impedance is a HIE. Now what is ZL? So here if you remember that ZL means the load between the collector and emitter. Here remember, this is my collector and this is the emitter. So here the load means at this point whatever the impedance is same, correct, between these two terminals. So if you look at this, then between these two terminals, this complete network is there. Here, the Z2 is there, Z3 is there, Z1 is there. There is a parallel combination of Z1 and HI, and that parallel combination is in series with Z3, and then it is in series with the Z2. So here, this impedance, that ZL, here, whatever is there, this ZL, we can write as Z1 parallel HIE, means the Z1 parallel HIE. Now this is in series with Z3, so plus Z3, and this series combination is in parallel with Z2. Correct? So this is the load for your amplifier circuit. And the feedback factor. What is the feedback? Here in this case, if you remember, in the previous case we have represented Z1 parallel HI. You can write as Z1 dash plus Z3, Z1 dash plus Z3, and that is a parallel combination of Z2. So actually here also we have the correction, and that will be a parallel to Z2. Correct? Z1 dash plus Z3 parallel to Z2. So this is the load for the Colpitts oscillator. And then we have discussed a feedback factor. And that is the K. So the feedback factor means it is a ratio of a feedback voltage to the output voltage. And this thing also we have calculated. So feedback voltage means that across Z1, but here not across Z1. The parallel combination of HI is also there, so it is a Z1 dash divided by the Z1 dash plus, here the last time already we have discussed, so Z1 dash plus this Z3 will be there. Correct? So means For all this kind of the step, you can see the previous video of the Hartley oscillator. Then according to the Barkhausen criteria, we have Kv is equal to 1 and Z1 dash divided by Z1 dash plus Z3. AV is minus HAP into ZL by HIE, and this is equal to 1. And in this expression, we can put this value of ZL. What is my ZL? Is this. And what is the Z1 dash? It is a parallel combination of Z1 and HIE. So, after the simplification, you will get this expression. So, shall I rub out all this thing? Remember, here, what is the expression? Expression is Z1 dash divided by Z1 dash plus Z3 into minus HAP into ZL divided by HIE and equal to 1. And in this case, we write what is Z1 dash? Z1 dash is a Z1 parallel HIE. What is ZL? So ZL is a Z1 parallel HIE, Z1 parallel HIE plus Z3, and that is in parallel with Z2. So we have to replace this value of ZL and we have to replace with Z1 dash. So after the simplification, you will get this expression, that is the HIE into Z1 plus Z2 plus Z3, HIE into Z1 plus Z2 plus Z3 plus Z1 Z2 into 1 plus HAP, 1 plus HAP plus Z1 Z3, this is equal to 0. Okay. So, here, when we write the Barkhausen criteria K into AV is equal to 1, then we put this value of a feedback factor, we put this value of a voltage gain of the amplifier, then you will get this expression. Now, in this expression, we will write what is Z1, Z2 and Z3 for a Colpitts oscillator. So, in Colpitts oscillator, Z1 is, here you can see in the circuit diagram, there is a capacitor C1 is there. So, its impedance will be a minus J by omega C1. What is Z2? It is also a capacitor. So, Z2 is equal to minus J by omega C2. And here, if we see the Z3, and Z3 is nothing but it is an inductor, so the J omega L will be there. So, if we replace this value in this expression, then we have HIE minus J by omega C1 minus J by omega C2 plus J by J plus J omega L. So that is my first term. Then in second term, we have a product of Z1 and Z2. So minus J by omega C1 minus J by omega C2 into 1 plus HAP, and plus Z1, Z3 is there. What is Z1? It is minus J by omega C1, and what is Z3? It is J omega L, and that is going to equal to 0. So simply we are replacing the value of Z1, Z2 and Z3. Correct? Now here the HIE into bracket. Now you can see in the first term the J is going to be common, so I will write J into HIE. So in the bracket we have omega L minus 1 upon omega C1 minus 1 upon omega C2. Then the second term. Here in second term, the J into J, it is a J square. It will be a minus 1. And here minus minus is going to be positive. So this term is going to be a negative. So it will be a minus 1 upon omega square C1 C2 into 1 plus HAP. Correct? And the last term, J into J, J square, that is minus 1, minus minus, plus 1 will be there. Here omega, omega will be cancelled. So we can have a L by C1 and that is equal to 0. So here now if you look at this, loop K. So in this loop K, we have this imaginary term and this is a real term. Correct? So basically this is representing what? That the loop gain is a complex number. But we know that for a sustained oscillation in a Barkhausen criteria, the loop gain is always a real. That is a k into AB is equal to 1. It means that our imaginary part has to be 0. So when we write the imaginary part is equal to 0, then you will get what is the frequency of oscillation. Correct? So the same expression is there. Now this is imaginary, and the imaginary part is what? It is HIE into omega L minus 1 upon omega C1 omega C2, and this is going to be a 0. So here you will get omega L equal to 1 upon omega C1 1 upon omega C1 plus plus 1 upon omega C2. Okay? So if you take this omega on other side, you will get omega square and equal to 1 upon C1 plus 1 upon C2. And omega square will be equal to 1 upon L into bracket 1 upon C1 plus 1 upon C2. So ultimately, the frequency of oscillation we have 1 upon 2 pi, here omega is 2 pi f, so 1 upon 2 pi under root of the 1 upon L into 1 upon C1 plus 1 upon C2. So this is the frequency of oscillation for a Colpite oscillator. And here you can see either we increase the value of inductor or capacitor, the frequency of oscillation is going to increase. Correct? Now, what should be the condition? Means, whatever the transistor we are selecting, then what should be the HFE of the transistor? And then you can find out the condition by from this a real part. So this is a real part. Correct? Now here imaginary part is 0. So what is the remaining part? Real part is there. So here now 1 upon omega square C2 into 1 plus HAP plus L by C1, and this is equal to 0. We have this negative sign. So we can say that 1 plus HAP is equal to L by C1 into, now omega square C1 C2 you take on the other side, then it will be multiplication. So omega square C1 C2 will be here. Here the C1 will be cancelled out, and we can have a L into C2 into, now what is omega square? 1 upon L here. So it is 1 upon L into 1 upon C1 plus 1 upon C2. And here if you calculate, right, you can cancel out this. So you will get 1 plus HAP equal to C2 into that C2 plus C1 divided by C1 C2. So this C2 will be cancelled, and you have a C2 by C1 plus 1. And on this side we have 1 plus HAP. So this is going to be cancelled. So HAP is equal to AC2 by C1. Means whatever the transistor we are selecting, that HAP must be greater than the C2 by, or the C2 by C1 ratio has to be greater than the HAP of the transistor. Then only you will get a sustained oscillation. Correct? So here the Colpitts oscillator is normally used for generating a higher frequency. It is widely used in a radio for a local oscillation. In a radio we have a kind of a mixer, and in the mixer the local oscillator is also there. So this is used in that case. So whenever our requirement is generating a frequency of a very high, then the local this Colpitts oscillator is widely used. Okay, now let us see an example on a Hartley oscillator and Colpitts oscillator. Okay, look at this. In a Hartley oscillator, the two inductance are 2 millihenry and 20 microhenry, while the frequency is to be changed from 950 kilohertz to 2050 kilohertz. So here, what is given to you? Where it is a L1 is there, and it is a 2 millihenry. L2 is a 20 microhenry. Now the frequency is changing from 950 kilohertz to 2050 kilohertz. Means we have a minimum frequency and maximum frequency. So oscillating minimum frequency is 950 kilohertz, and the maximum frequency is 2050 kilohertz. Now what you have to find out? Calculate the range over V. The capacitor is to be varied. So, what is the formula for the frequency of oscillation in case of a Hartley? It is given by F is equal to 1 upon 2 pi under root of L1 plus L2 plus 2n into C is there. But remember, here the mutual inductance is not given. Means we have to consider it is 0, and frequency of oscillation is 1 upon 2 pi under root of L1 plus L2 into C. Now in this formula you can see, as we increase the value of capacitance, then the frequency will decrease. If I will reduce the value of capacitor, then the frequency is increasing. So if I want to get a maximum frequency, the capacitor has to be a minimum. And if you want a minimum frequency, the capacitor has to be a maximum. So we can write the F maximum you will get only when the capacitance is minimum. It is a under root of L1 plus L2 into C minimum. And F minimum is given as 1 upon 2 pi under root of L1 plus L2 into a C maximum. Now from these two formula you can calculate what is the minimum value of the capacitor. So the C minimum will comes out to be here. If I will make a expression for a C minimum, then this will be a 4 pi square F maximum square, 4 pi square F maximum square into, so C minimum will be equal to, 1 upon 4 pi square F maximum square. Here, C minimum you will take on other side, then this will be 4 pi square F square, and then it will be A into L1 plus L2. Correct? Same way, you can calculate the C maximum, and that is 1 upon 4 pi square F square minimum into L1 plus L2. So using these two formula, you can calculate the range of a capacitor. Here I am not going to calculate, but just I am giving an idea how to solve the problem. Now look at this another example. A Colpite oscillator circuit operates with 450 kHz. So the frequency is given, F is equal to a 450 kHz. With C1 is equal to C2. C1 is equal to C2, and let us say this is equal to a C. Determine the frequency of oscillation if the value of C2 is double. So first of all we will see that what is the frequency of oscillation when we have C1 is equal to C2. So here we can write that when C1 is equal to C2 equal to C, then my formula will be a F is equal to 1 upon 2 pi under root of, or you can write in this way, one upon 2 pi under root of 1 upon L, 1 upon C1 plus 1 upon C2. Correct? And this is equal to 1 upon 2 pi under root of 1 upon L. Now if the C1 and C2, they are same, so we can write 1 upon C plus 1 upon C, and this will come out to be 2 pi into 1 upon L, C1, C plus C, so 2C divided by a C square, so we have a 2 by C. Correct? And what is the frequency? The frequency at that time, it is a 450 kilohertz. Remember, that is my F. Now, in another case, the C1 is as it is, that is the C, and the C2 is equal to a 2C. So capacitance is going to be a double. So the frequency of oscillation is given as 1 upon 2 pi under root of 1 upon L, so 1 upon C plus 1 upon 2C. And this is equal to 1 upon 2 pi under root of 1 upon L, 2C plus C, so it will be a 3C by 3 c by 2c square. So this will be cancelled and equal to 1 upon 2 pi under root of 1 upon L 3 by 2c. Okay? So this is my new frequency. Now how will you proceed? You can take the ratio. You can take the ratio of f dash by f. So f dash by f, that is 1 upon 2 pi under root of 1 upon L into 2 by c divided by 1 upon 2 pi under root of 1 upon L into 3 by 2c. And now you can calculate that what is the f dash. I am not going to calculate. Now you can find out what will be the value of f dash.